More some things invest. We talk about investing, finance, and professional development for today's items only. The investment we're going to talk today would be Ethereum ETH. With respect to recording time of 11:09 a.m. on Eastern Time, Ethereum contracting $4,098, that's about 2.10% so far. First, I just want to apologize for posting a little bit later today. I was in between meetings this morning, but I was still keeping up to the news. Been reading up the news while in meetings at the same time, so I was kind of paying attention, but not really at the same time. But let's just dive into it. With respect to the news front, I would say in the last 12 hours so far, it's been extremely active because of a lot of the earnings call, and also with respect to the surge that we hit, with respect to the all-time highs that Bitcoin has hit yesterday, but seems like it's kind of selling back down right now, down about 2.52%, Ethereum down about 2.40%, Dogecoin down about 3%, Cardano down about 2%, while Solana is still up and away per our technical analysis. It seems like it's coming true that the next level would technically be the 195, right below 200 per the technicals if the sustainability of the bullish momentum is going to keep going. And also with respect to XRP down about 3.15%, polkadot down about 3% respectively, Algorand up about 1.80%, Shiba Inu down about 4% respectively. And on the equity side of the house, there's definitely a lot of sector rotation that's going on with respect to a lot of the tech and high growth and high cap stocks are all surging with respect to Tesla, attempting to reach all-time high today, trading at the $896, up about 4% respectively, while NEO is also having that drag effect up about 2% respectively. So with that effect, we'll have some anti-correlation effects from the equity side to the crypto side, which is one of the other catalysts on driving some minimization of the sell-off that we're seeing right now. So beside that, let's take a look at the news real quick, right? With respect to Bazinga, 11 minutes ago, not 11 hours ago, Tesla reports a $51 million of a Bitcoin-related impairment loss in Q3. So this is basically talk about what happened during the China crackdown news that, as you know, that subsequently sold off Bitcoin specifically to go below the 40K mark, right, close to about like the 35K mark, and subsequently recuperate as based on the report that they say, because it is within the Q3 time frame, they basically capturing the loss at that time. But despite Bitcoin surging back up, we're back to all-time high all over again. So it's kind of like a late news, but it is something that to record in a time fiscal perspective. So interesting to know, but more of a trivial one. The next one is on CNBC about 52 minutes ago, talk about crypto exchange FTX value at $25 billion in $420 million of funding round. So it seems like, Sam Bankman-Fried, which is his name, that sounds crazy. Sam Bankman-Fried. It sounds like a meme name. Is that even the real name? He's the CEO of the crypto exchange FTX, right? It seems like he's making a killing with a lot of the venture investors funding and obviously institutional investors supporting his initiative by funding the $420 million in a funding round. I think in a Series D perspective, at a valuation to close to the enterprise value of $25 billion for this crypto exchange company. So congrats to this guy. This guy's making a killing right now with the equity ownership that he has right now. The next one's on CNBC about an hour ago. What is driving the run in Bitcoin and whether it can continue, according to JP Morgan? You see, basically, the JP Morgan is, it's kind of like, some days they're very, very positive, some days they're very, very negative. So I would read what they're saying with a grain of salt, and based on the high level, synopsis of what they're saying is basically, they do see some more bullishness coming, specifically for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and they did say something about like 100K. As a price target, but in the article they don't really have any definitive date or a timing for it, but they're saying they're bullish on it. They might see some volatility, so it's kind of like a mixed signal article again. So feel free to take a read, but is there anything substantive? I would say not really. But ultimately it's JP Morgan, right? So they do have some influence into the market. So if they say it's positive, people is going to be buying in because of lack of, full understanding. They just read what they see on the news, so they probably will chase it. So again, it's just more fluff or more noise, if you may. So feel free to take a read if you may. The next one's on Bloomberg 2 hours ago, talk about Bitcoin takes a breather after a rally to new all-time high. So this is something that we are seeing on a regurgitation perspective now, right? This is something we saw yesterday, which we'll dive into the technicals. So the article on Bloomberg basically talk about what is the technical resistance levels or support that we'll be foreseeing going forward. And then the next one is talking about Cointelegraph about 3 hours ago. Bitcoin price flash crash by 87% to 8K on Binance. What? Is that real? Like, I didn't see any of that stuff. They said, I think in probably like a technical glitch. 87% crash to 8,000 on Binance. I didn't see any of that happen yesterday because that's an enormous crash. I think someone was probably making an exchange on the commerce side, transferring from wallet to another wallet, and a relatively sizable one, and that got picked up and subsequently drive some volatility into the market, but subsequently got bought up. So 87%, that might be just a technical glitch. They said that Bitcoin hit all the way to $8,100. So I don't know if you saw that. Did you guys see that? If you guys saw that, like, feel free to leave a comment below and let me know if this is something that it might be just a technical glitch, because that happens sometimes. So interesting. Wow, but that's a really big volatility, I would say. The next one is talk about with respect to 4 hours ago, Ethereum follows Bitcoin leads and hits all-time high price. So this is another regurgitation news. Talk about the technical. It seems like Ethereum is trying to get to the all-time high of 4,383, but it seems like, it's not completely there. We got to like close to it, like 4,200 something, but with respect to 4,400, which is technically the all-time high, we couldn't get there. And I think people were putting some sell order around that level. And on top of the fact, because of the anti-correlation effect from the equity side and the Bitcoin drag effect going downward right now, it's kind of a mixed bag with respect to sustaining the bullish momentum, despite the bullish momentum that we saw already yesterday. I think Ethereum was close to about up like 10% yesterday. So, and also on top of the fact that we've been searching for quite some time, so we cannot really test our luck that way. The next one is on Business Insider about 7 hours ago. Talk about Elon Musk posted a raunchy tweet about Bitcoin hitting 69,000, and the crypto community loves it. Obviously, Elon loves his attention. He likes to tweet like cryptic messages sometimes, and he loves to be on the media front. He's definitely not a shy guy, despite his awkward or like social awkwardness that he has during earnings call to during like interviews. But he seems like he's trying to pump Bitcoin based on the recent tweet. Obviously, people that are bullish on Bitcoin would love it. So quite interesting. So that's pretty much on the news front. A lot of news, obviously. Some positive, some negative, some regurgitation. I would say more regurgitation than positive and substantive. So with respect to Ethereum right now, we are basically selling back down. We are still levitating. This is not a level that's sustainable because of the fact that if you look at the technicals, the real level technically as we go up would be the 4,383. It's either we go all-time high or we don't, right? And the next comfort level that we'll go back down to would be, again, right, the 3,843. But this is a $4,000 mark, so we have to watch to see if this is something that is sustainable from the public investors, which ultimately are the ones that are driving this level at the moment. We are forming a curvature down right now, so I think a sell is definitely more imminent because selling is definitely easier than buying it up, right? That's just the logic, right? And with respect to the MACD right now, we are forming a slow curvature right now. So I think ideally buying at the, I think with respect to like, if you even want to test your luck, 3,850 could be a level to dollar cost average at, but like, again, I'll wait until like the 3,150 because that's more of a substantive level. This is not really a platform, right? And if you break this level, the next level you have like a $400 sell down from. And then you have like a bunch of like non-substantive level, but the real more substantive level is the 3,150, which is the level I would be buying at. And I think the sell is relatively imminent because what do we see as more bullish momentum beside the FOMC meeting? And I think the FOMC meeting could be a relatively binary outcome. We don't know, right? And also with more sector rotations, with the tech stocks and the high growth stocks getting pumped by the cryptos, by the fund manager side. So that's something that could subsequently rotate the funds out to drive more selling pressure from here. So for Bitcoin, we are selling off right now as expected. We're at the 60s. We're at all-time high with 67,000, and we are basically $4,000 away from that right now. And we are forming a curvature. I think the sell-off is going to be relatively bloody because of the fact that we did hit the 83 yesterday off the 70 mark. We had the 73, so we sold down quite a lot. And next thing you know, you're going to see like a consecutive days of negative news, and that could technically sell us back down to ideally the first level at the bare minimum, the 52,500, and then the 48, and then 43. I wouldn't touch it until it gets to 48, to be honest with you, because this is relatively largely bought by public investors. So next thing you know, a whale is just going to come in and dump you, and then everybody's going to follow in. That's just typically how the affectation is going to look like. On top of the fact the whale is relatively large. So as the whale falls back from the sky, it's going to make a huge splash. And when that huge splash, a lot of people are going to die. Wow, that sounds like a really bloody image. But I think that's how it's going to look like as we are selling down to back to the more of a depletion level, right? As RSI hit 36, and when that hits, it will be around like the 40K mark. Dogecoin, we are still curving up. It's definitely a little bit trading on a different pattern in comparisons to the key coins, right? Right now, we're still overbought. It's a 53 out of 70. We are basically struggling right now. So ideally, buy at the anywhere like 20 cents to the 21 to 20 cents would be more logical level. Right now, this is not sustainable. Cardano is having a delay effect. Again, we're just hovering on a sideways fashion. And I think, we might cross back down to the 205, and then we should subsequently surge up because we are percolating on like a downward wedge right now. And that's a good sign of a bullish momentum that's coming in a later stage as we are, shifting more of a percolations going forward. Solana again is doing as expected. We hit 195, exactly what we said yesterday and days ago. So I think that was it. And because of the fact that we're at that golden cross, right? We're at the 66, and we're selling back down right now, going back to the comfort level of the 177, basically around like 181. So right now we have some room to fall down to. But we have to see how the golden cross is going to be formed. If we have more curvature upward, yeah, I think going back to 195 and even try to touch 200 and then sell back down would be very logical from here. But for me, again, right, the 136, the 113 would be more logical. And 66 would be ideal for me to even have an entry. XRP is very it's kind of mushed together. And I think we have some bullish momentum because we crossed down and then crossed up and then we crossed up again. So I think with respect to the level that we are at right now, the dip was basically 105, right, or 101 based on the technicals. And I think with respect to 52 out of 70 right now, I don't think the surge is going to be very, very prominent. I think maybe going to the 117 and then sell back down, come back to 101 would be very logical. Polkadot down about 3.12% right now. We are forming a huge curve back, so I think sell-off is definitely imminent. We're at the 63 out of 70, so ideally buying at the 31. Or, for me, 25 would be a better level. ALGORAND is forming a golden cross, so ideally surging up to, close to, like the $2 mark, which we have like 18 cents left, would be logical because of the fact that we still have 54 out of 70. So ALGORAND is not a bad level right now, I would say, if you compare all the other ones. Shiba Inu, which form a death cross, so more sell-off is definitely imminent. We're still at the overbought level, so I think filling this gap, and then going all the way back down to the 6, basically at bare minimum, 822. So we still have a long way to go, guys. Shiba Inu is definitely not a good setup right now. It's definitely very bloody. So with respect to the market cycle, I know I got some questions. Ideally, we want to get back to the anger and depression stage, but it seems like the whales have skipped us steps like crazy. We completely just like skipped through the steps and went straight into like euphoria and thrill for some reason, even though we never got there. So the market cycle is very convoluted right now, and I'm not a wizard. I'm not Jesus. I don't know how is comparable to it, but again, we are in the business of risk mitigation. We know we need to get to the anger and depression stage to sell us back down for the recycle of the dollars to come back into the market, right? And with respect to the level we have identified in the technical analysis, these are the levels that we are going to be going forward with, right? Again, when the RSI depletes to 35 and when we are forming a golden cross at the cusp of it, right? These are the levels I would be using as a reference. And again, this is my personal risk aversion, not for everybody. And hope you guys, find this helpful on to understanding how I think. And really appreciate you for dropping by again. Apologies for posting a little bit later again. But feel free to give me a shout if you have any questions. And stay tuned for us to come up. Take care. Bye.